Cool. And speaking of not being magical, my alarm just went off and cut my video off to remind me that we needed to head out. My mom and I are going to see a castle today. And, and whenever my alarm goes off, it literally cuts off what I'm doing. Anyway, I lost my card, so I'm going to continue the reading because it is that hilarious. When you are struggling, okay, so just to pick it up. When you are struggling, the lack of feeling magical, or you're trying to, that is like your biggest challenge, play is the best way to get there. And what I was saying when I was cut off was, it's all about whatever play means to you, whether it is getting out into nature, sitting under a waterfall, knitting, like swimming, whatever it is that gets you in that zero state is the first way to get you into your higher self. You have to disconnect. This is great. The High Priestess. The High Priestess is the knowledge. It's practice. It's actually practice making perfect about getting into your higher self. She's the embodiment of the oracle and the higher self. But it is a matter of the more you practice, the easier it gets to slip into that side of yourself, to kind of leave your brain and go into your divine feminine. So that's another good piece of advice. What else we got? Give me one more. I was about to say fuck this reading, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with it. I'm gonna finish it. It'll be a two-parter. But it literally was just like, oh. All right, here we go. This is a good advice. So Wheel of Fortune came up first. Wheel of Fortune is turning lack into abundance. You know, a lot of times when I first started meditating, I would get to the space of frustration because I'm not a good meditator. And what I realized for myself, it's not actually about meditating. I'm a active visualizer. I'm an active visualizer. So instead of having meditations where you just think of nothing, especially to get up into your higher self, that doesn't always work. And it doesn't work for me. And it's been something that I've made peace with. What I do is I do active visualizations where I will instantly imagine myself being in a space that I know where I'm going to, like if I'm on top of the mountain inside my head, if I'm on top of the mountain and I go to meet my spirit guides, I know that they're going to be on that mountain. Or I just go to the mountain being like, all right, who wants to show up and be there for me? That's when I realized that I could meditate, but it's just in my own way. And that's how I built my spiritual practice, was turning that lack mentality of like, I'm not a good meditator, and that whole mantra that I kept telling myself, and building it into a lack of abundance. You can see here, it's like the skeleton, the lack into the abundance here. That's how I was able to really build a relationship with my higher self, my divine feminine, to move into that energy again. And then lastly, shadow work. I cannot impress this enough. Maybe that's why I need to be doing what I'm here, which I think I've been doing a lot of it, especially with my mom and our relationship, but then also the relationship with myself and the world, is shadow work helps a lot in helping your motivation to why you want to step into your higher self. Now I just felt a little tingle in the back and I'm happy. I'm starting to get the tingles. Shadow work is all about laying out on the table the ugliest parts of yourself, the most selfish, impatient, whatever they are, and saying, this is who I am. And then you embrace them. You don't just say, oh, this is who I am, and you bury them. You actually embrace them as a part of yourself. And the more that you come to the table in an honest way, the more you're able to kind of like divest yourself from any like ill beliefs or beliefs of lack, where you don't feel like you deserve to step into your higher self. It gets rid of also the I can't do, it's like I can't meditate, I can't do that. Having that shadow work out there and making peace with how you truly feel about yourself helps with your motivations to why you're trying to step into your higher self, therefore clears the way. So that said, I don't know where my Fool card went, but the Fool is about, the challenge is I can't step into my higher self, I can't meditate, I can't do the things, feel magical, what do I do? You find ways to play. You start practicing High Priestess, the Oracle. You turn lack into abundance. You really study your self-limiting self-belief systems, and you knock them out. For me, it was, I can't meditate. That's a fucking lie. And then shadow work. Shadow work is really confronting all the things that you feel about yourself that are lacking in order for you to step into that place of like, you know what? I used to believe this about me, or maybe that part of this is true, but I'm not going to let it get in the way of me stepping to my higher self and being magical. And the more you do this and the more you practice it, the more you are able to step into your higher self, your divine feminine, your inner child outcome. I can't make that up. Fucking love it. The outcome is magician. I'm going to end it right there on the high note.